My dear 11th class students, today we are going to start a new lesson titled as To Serve with Love. To Serve with Love is written by E.R. Braithwaite. So, this is an autobiographical novel. It is based on Braithwaite's experience as a teacher in a tough East End secondary modern school. So, Edward Richard Braithwaite, known as E.R. Braith, was born in Georgetown, British, and was educated in the USA and UK. He became an RAF officer, means he became an Royal Air Force officer during the war of 1939 to 45. So, To Serve with Love is basically an extract from his book, on which a movie was made and was appreciated a lot by the people. So, the novel is basically based on true events concerned with E.R. Braithwaite taking up a teaching post in a school there. The narrator, E.R. Braithwaite, is a teacher there. The school is full of troublemaker students who were rejected from other schools for their behavior. So, most of the people in the class are unmotivated to learn. They are not motivated to learn. They do not want to learn. These students attempt to discourage, demoralize their teacher by disruptive noises. They were very, very, very ill mannered and is indisciplined. So, Braithwaite tells in the lesson how he overcame the dislike of the people, how he handled them with love, how he handled them with the trick and tact. So, thus, he was able to win their respect, he was able to win their heart, he was able to take them in confidence. So the trouble, the later at the beginning they troubled him very very much, and at last when he was able to win their heart, when he was able to take them in his confidence, they troubled him no more. He became their friend as well as a teacher. So Braithwaite decides to try a new approach. He decides to try a new approach, and he sets some ground rules. The students, he believes that students will be leaving school soon, and they will enter adult society. So he will treat them as an adult, and he will allow them to decide what topics they wish to study, and in return he demands their respect as their teacher. So the story begins like this. The first part of the story begins like this. Braithwaite says that he addressed the students on the second day of his joining the new school. So he addressed the students on the second day of his joining the new school. He asked them to listen to him without interrupting him in any way. He assured them that after he had finished, after he had completed, one of them could speak out without any interruption from him. So the students got interested and began to listen to him attentively. He also told them that he is there to teach. He is a teacher there, and his work is to teach them. And he would make his teaching as interesting as possible. So even if they failed to understand, or if they didn't agree with any of his lectures, with any of his teachers lectures or anything like that, he would be glad to answer their questions. They can ask questions if they have certain questions in mind. They are free to ask him anytime after he had finished his lectures. So the author followed one more trick to pamper the students. He said that they were all grown ups. They are all grown ups and they will be leaving school in about 6 months. So this was one more trick Braithwaite applied. So he told them that you all are grown-ups now. You all will be leaving this school in about 6 months. So most of you would start earning your living. So the author said he would treat them as young men. He would treat them as young men and women rather than as mere children. He said that as grown ups, all of them were expected to show better standards of behavior. So, author is this E.R. Braithwaite as a teacher is trying to take them in his confidence. So he is telling them that you people are very grown up, you might be leaving the school in about 6 months, so you have to be very careful about it. You have to show better standards of behavior, you have to show some kind of decency, you have to show some kind of you have to maintain your standards. So then what happens while saying all this thing to the students, because it was his first day, so this was a kind of introduction, and this was a kind of motivation and giving them a kind of moral education before before taking other lessons. So Pamela Dare, she is one of the students, suddenly entered the class. So she suddenly entered the class by throwing open violently. She was very late. She did not have the courtesy to ask for permission of the teacher to came into the classroom. So Pamela Dare suddenly opened the door without seeking permission, without asking permission from the teacher. The teacher, Braithwaite was very annoyed. He says, I was very annoyed by her behavior, but he kept his cool. He spoke a word or a two, the teacher spoke a word or a two about the decent way to enter the class. He says, there are really two ways uh, in which a person may enter a room. So, E.R. Braithwaite, as a teacher, he says that there are two ways in which a person may enter a room. One is in a controlled, dignified manner. The other is as if someone had just planted a heavy foot in your backside. So, Miss Pamela Dare has just shown us the second way. She has just shown. So, he explained to them that there are really two ways in which a person may enter a room. One is in a decent way, in a controlled manner, in a dignified manner. The other is as if someone had just planted a heavy foot in your backside. And Miss Pamela Dare has just shown us in the second way. So I am quite sure she will now give us a demonstration of the first. So these were the words the Braithwaite spoke to them. So he spoke these words, and all eyes were now turned towards Miss Dare. Every student turned towards Miss Pamela Dare. She felt very, very ashamed. She went out and then re entered the class in a decent and graceful manner. So she corrected her behavior. She went outside the classroom. She went out from the classroom and then she re entered the class in a decent and graceful manner. This is how Braithwaite tried to motivate her. So, this was about the first part of the lesson. The story is basically in a book, it is divided into three parts. This was just the first part, and tomorrow we will be going through the second part. Thank you.